State and local taxes. All right. As mentioned previously, this is pretty much, we're going to focus on federal, but we're here to mention them because these will come up time and time again. Property taxes, for example, these will be a possible deduction you can take on the itemized form on the Schedule A. So yeah, it's worth mentioning here. This is the largest revenue source for both state and local governments, including real property taxes, so property on real property that's physical, like real estate, and personal property taxes, both based on fair market value and generally collected annually. When I lived in the big old wonderful state of Missouri, yes, you're going to pay property tax on your car, and if you had a boat or many other things. Whereas in New York, living there, not that I've ever owned a house, not that I will likely ever own a house in the state of New York, that is going to be property tax on your house, but you're not paying property tax on your car or anything. It just depends on the state. Real property, this is something to know for the exam. Real property, this includes land, structures, and improvements to permanently attach to land. And personal property, this is all other types of property, both tangible and intangible, such as automobiles, boats, inventory, equipment, stocks, bonds, intellectual property. This is state and local tax. Again, property taxes will be important because this will be a possible deduction you could take as an itemized. Now, state income taxes, you also, in addition to paying federal income taxes, a lot of times you'll have taxes for individuals and corporations residing in or earning income within the state. So you got to file a state income tax return and pay income tax there. Generally going to be lower than federal rates. Some states, obviously, such as New York, California, going to have much higher. Some states, such as Florida, Texas, actually don't even have income taxes at the state level. Most state taxable income calculations conform to federal calculations with some modifications. They kind of just copy the federal way of doing things. However, generally, yes, will be lower than federal. We've also got sales tax. As mentioned before, this is going to be something that all of you are quite familiar with paying. Some states will have higher, some states will have lower, some cities will have city sales tax. And this is a percentage-based tax on finished products at the point of sale. So when you go to buy some clothing, some shirts, you go out and you buy a nice meal, whatever that is, you're going to pay tax on that. And let's say the tax rate is 5%. The company or whoever is running the show there, it's their job to collect the sales tax and give it to the government. A use tax, this is going to be levied on the retail price of goods owned, possessed, or consumed within a state, but not purchased within the state. So what is the whole purpose of this? It aims to discourage taxpayers from buying goods out of state to avoid sales tax and to protect local retailers from competitive disadvantages. States with sales tax offer use tax credit to prevent double taxation. So what is this? Well, if you live next to a state that has a 0% sales tax on, let's say, vehicles, this is something that definitely does happen in the real world. And yeah, vehicles are kind of expensive, right? Buying a car, that's going to be a little bit expensive. So your sales tax might be a couple $1,000s, and that's not fun. That's not ideal. So if you go and drive to the nearby state, well, I don't know how you're driving because you don't have a car, but yeah, you borrow a car to go buy a car in the state next to you where there's no sales tax. Technically, you have to pay this use tax, right? You legally have to pay it because you go, let's say, buy it in Delaware, you drive back to Virginia, and let's say Delaware has no sales tax and Virginia does have sales tax. You're going to have to pay use tax because you're now using that in the state of Virginia. In reality, can you get around that? Possibly. I'm not the foremost expert in how they keep track of all of that, but that is what a use tax would be. Next, we've got implicit taxes. These are going to be indirect taxes resulting from tax advantages granted by the government for social or economic objectives. So, for example, we're dealing still with state and local governments. Municipal bond interest, these are bonds that you'll see these pretty much throughout all of the exams you'll take throughout the CPA exam. Municipal bond interest, this refers to bonds, raising money. Generally, if you're a company, you're going to sell bonds and you'll pay interest on them, but it gives you a lot of cash up front. Who can also have these? Well, states and local governments can have these. And what does the federal government do? Well, it generally makes the income on that tax deductible. So if I am an investor and I want to buy a bond, maybe I'll go and buy a bond for a small little city or something because the income from that will be tax deductible, or not tax deductible. I won't have to pay tax on that. This allows municipalities to raise money at a reduced cost without direct federal subsidies. What's the point of that? This is going to be an important point for book to tax and the fact that this is tax-exempt income. You'll see this in a lot of questions when it comes to gross income as well. Well, usually small municipalities, small counties, small cities are not going to be as financially business adept as, let's say, companies or anything like that. So this is a way for the federal government to help them out and incentivize you as the investor to give them money.
Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.